We're going to take a look at this. This is a Spypoint FLEX-DARK. This is the latest and greatest from Spypoint right now. Now, I have previously opened this just to get a quick look at it, but let's do a quick unboxing and see what it's all about. It is hotter than blazes out here right now. Now, I'm more than likely not going to deploy this today. I'm going to take it back where there's a good cell signal, make sure all the firmware and everything is updated on this thing, but the packaging is rather standard so far for a Spypoint. And again, this is the Spypoint Dark. I'm just going to be setting this on the ground, actually throwing it. First thing I did notice is check out that antenna. That is a radically different look for that antenna compared to the one on the regular Flexes. So that's different to begin with. Once I get the camera out itself, I'm going to just set this down. The camera itself looks like pretty much a normal Flex. Got that red, protector on the thread there. The battery latch does look like they did redesign it somewhat on there, so that battery latch does look a lot different. So that's kind of interesting once we get into the guts of the camera. The battery pack more or less looks the same. So we're going to get this thing all fired up. We'll get a SD card in there like they need us to, and we'll see what this Flex right here with this new style antenna is all about. Now, the Dark does have one feature that the other one doesn't. The Dark is going to be able to take pictures without giving off that IR flash. So that ought to be pretty cool, seeing how that all works. Hopefully it doesn't give a lot of blur. I've had problems with the IR flash ones giving off a lot of blur. So with luck, this one is going to be a winner. We're going to get this thing deployed in the next couple days. Okay, so by the water hole that is right behind me here, we're going to be putting out the Spypoint Dark, this guy right here. Now, the reason we want to try this is sometimes the deer got a little skittish with how close the tree is. Now, one thing I forgot to point out on the Spypoint Dark, they changed where the mount went. Normally the mount was more in the middle on these, but now they moved it to the top. If that better or worse, I really don't know, but that's where they moved the mount to. So anyways, we're going to get this sucker put on a tree behind me in just a second. So we'll test and see for real how the Spypoint Dark works. I'm excited to see how this test works. On my cameras, you'll notice I have that number on there. This one is J26. I put those numbers on there because I have a lot of cameras, and it helps me when I'm figuring out which one is which when in the field. So this one on the Spypoint app, I'll show it to you, is named, J26. In this case, Spypoint FLEX-DARK or Dark Spypoint or something like that. So we're going to get it put out right back here on that tree. It looks like right there. So we're going to put it on that tree in just a second. All right. All right, so we're going to take a walk back, and I'm going to show you the camera here. I'm going to spin the camera around here. 2 clicks real quick, and it recenters. 2 more clicks, and we should be spinning. Okay, there we go, we spun. It took a little longer than I wanted, but there is the Spypoint Flex right there, and that is looking directly at the water hole. So there's the water hole right there. We're just finishing up getting the last of the water out of that bladder. That bladder, boy, that has worked absolutely fantastic. This is the first time I'm filling the hole for this year, and hopefully we'll get some critter action in it. We always do. It's good. Before I show you what the pictures and video looks like, let's take a quick look at the app. They have made some refinements to that app lately. You do have to pay for HD videos if you do want them. They're very inexpensive. And same with HD photos. But here's the part I found interesting. You can have the normal sensitivity settings like that. That's fine. But it's this setting right here. No glow and low glow. Low glow will give you a farther, like, quote unquote, flash than the no glow will. So anyways, let's take a look at those pictures and get on with this review. So if you look at the time code on there, it's 3:31, and the pictures actually look pretty good. The water hole is still full at 3:36. It's going down noticeably at 4:01. Now it's down really low at 4:40. And now when this blue jay came in at 5:47, it looks like it's pretty much empty. I think I had a problem with the water hole, but the camera actually looks like it's taking some pretty nice pictures here if you look at it. Now, this was set on dark mode for that. There's a buck right there. I had the camera facing down a little too far, but I'm going to come back in just a little bit and adjust that because it was sending these pictures and I was able to see that the water hole was empty by the next morning, and that was bad. So I come back. There's a little fawn checking it out right there. But boy, picture quality on this Spypoint Dark really looks like it was pretty darn good. So let's fast forward some of these pictures so I got the camera tilted up a little higher. You know, that was really disappointing seeing that that pond had run out of water because there was a crack in the very bottom of that. I had bought that other stock tank for $20 whole from a coworker, so I can't really complain about that other than it was a lot of work. As you can see in these pictures, it really does a nice job capturing, you know, the action of these blue jays coming in there. This night picture of these bachelor group of bucks turned out really good. I think this camera it's a good camera. It's like a standard flex, but it has that dark option. The one thing I will say about the spy points are I really like the fact that it comes with the free 100 pictures each month. That is really beneficial. The transition pictures between you know, night and evening, you'll see it actually in one of the video clips coming up. I think the camera did a very, very good job. Is this a top end, you're gonna hang these pictures on the wall type camera? No, no, none of these trail cameras really seem to get that way with a few exceptions, but I think the image quality is pretty good. I mean, take a look. That doe looks very sharp in that picture. That buck looks really nice off in the distance. And like I said, we're going to flip over and take a look at some video here right now. Now, I did boost the audio. All I did is just turned up the audio. That'd be like turning up the volume for you guys. So I'm going to just quiet down so you guys can listen to that and watch this squirrel get a drink. Those two things in there, by the way, are barley straw that helps keep down the algae in the tank. This is the clip that I said is actually a transition clip, so it's right at evening right here. So you can tell the camera handled that really well. She is so cautious coming in to get a drink out of that new tank. Deer are funny. Well, they got used to it. All right, right there, that's the Spypoint FLEX-DARK. That's the regular one. This is obviously not the solar, but I do have it connected to a off-brand solar panel that's charging it just fine and keeping it charged. This camera did, like I said earlier, had a different kind of antenna than the regular Flexes did, including the models from last year, so different than the M, so slightly different. Like they said, it's a little more flexible. Camera's got a little more give. They did change that mount in the back, and they did change that latch. The big advantage of this is it's supposed to shoot completely dark. One thing, it's not completely dark. Like they said, you do have the option to change it from dark mode to low glow, but the dark is what I bought it for. And if you look right there in the middle, I've seen footage of other people doing this. You can actually see those. So this will not be intruder proof, so they will see that. So if you're using this for security on your property, probably not the best idea. If you're using it for deer, they don't seem to mind at all. So weigh your pros and cons with that stuff. It's still a decent camera. This actually complements the Flex series pretty good. You've got the Flex, the G36, the G36 Camo. You've got the Plus, which has that giant battery pack on it for use on public lands. You've got the Solar Flex. You've got the Spypoint FLEX-DARK. You've got the Spypoint FLEX-DARK Solar, and you've got the M. Out of all of those, the most bang for your buck from what I've seen seems to be the M. Camera picture quality might not be as good as, say, the FLEX-DARK or the G36, but you can get more of them. I don't really care what the quality is. I can tell if a buck is a shooter or not a shooter just by looking at the size of that rack. You know, if they got a sway to their back, if they're filled out in the front, they got shorter legs because that chest is so large. I can see that on a Spypoint Micro. So anyways, let's get this thing popped off of here. Let's get that card out and let's take it home. And then let's see what that footage looks like. Again, this was my review of the Spypoint FLEX-DARK.